Hello, folkers. I'm Copper Kelly.
And I'm Jodie Lucas, and you're welcome to the Folkin Around podcast.
Your favourite country music podcast. And Joe, tell the lovely listeners, who are we talking to this week?
So this week we were talking to the Cowboys and Heroes country star finalist, Amy Gilgunn, who is a new country singer out on the scene, only 16 years old. And we spoke to her about her journey so far, as to where she's got and the highs and lows she's had so far and a few lessons that she's learned along the way. And yeah, just a bit of insight into what she's hoping for in the future. So yeah, it was a good one to sit down and talk to her.
Absolutely. I just want to say as well, we're overwhelmed by the support we're getting so far and the reaction to the podcast. It's going really well. And I just want to say as well, if you do want to help us out, if you want to help get us off the ground, some very small little things you could do to help us out is if you're listening to the podcast in, say, Apple Music or Podcast Addict, you can leave a little review for us. Give us a 5-star review if you're so inclined, and leave a nice little positive review for us as well. That'll help us out. And if you can actually watch the video podcast on YouTube, so go over and hit subscribe on that so you don't miss any more. But enough of that for now. What I'll do is I'll hand over to us in the past, talking to Amy, and hope you enjoy it and come back at the end of the podcast for our album club. All right, talk to you after.
So Amy, thank you so much for joining us. And
so much for having me.
So yeah, just give us a little bit of a background, obviously, for anybody that hasn't heard who you are. Give us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from a little village called Glenfarne in County Leitrim. I'm 16 years old and I absolutely love country music. It's been a huge part of my life and I absolutely love it. So I suppose I just really wanted to be part of the country music industry.
Brilliant.
And the Glenfarne's a really, really cool area. You've got the brilliant the Rainbow Ballroom there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing. The Rainbow is a great place for all the country dances, and when there's nowhere else to go, I suppose you'll always find something on in the Rainbow.
Yeah. And how's it been through lockdown and everything? Because it's normally obviously quite busy around there with stuff going on. What's kind of been happening?
Yeah, lockdown's been really, really quiet around here. There's literally been nothing going on. And I suppose we were also used to somewhere to go, something to do with the weekends. And now it's just so quiet and there's nothing going on. So I suppose they're trying to keep busy by planning events for when all these lockdown restrictions are lifted. And they're just keeping themselves busy with different events planned.
And I see you're doing a few live streams there over the lockdown. How did you take to that? How do you find doing live streams?
Yeah, I've done a couple of live streams. I was really nervous at the beginning of them because I think I'm more used to interacting with a crowd in front of me.
Definitely.
But when it's only a phone or a laptop in front of you and you don't know how your audience is reacting, it sometimes comes across as a little bit more difficult, but I got a great reaction to them and I really, really enjoyed doing them.
Yeah, it's difficult as well when you're just looking at a camera and you finish your song and it's just silence.
Exactly.
There's no clapping,
just
no nothing.
silence.
You just want to clap for yourself or something.
That's it, exactly.
Well done,
me.
That's
it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Bless you. So what else have you kind of got planned with the music side of things? Are you going to continue with the live streams?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to continue with the live streams, I suppose, posting covers as many as I can get up and keep interacting with that audience so that it doesn't seem when everything starts up again that I've kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth. But yeah, I'm definitely going to keep doing the live streams and hopefully when the lockdown restrictions are lifted, I might get into a studio and maybe get a song recorded and released just to get my name out there a little bit more.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
And you're obviously, you're 16, so you're at the younger generation than we are. But are you taking advantage of TikTok by any chance? Are you on that?
Yeah.
How are you faring on it?
I'm on TikTok and I have like a private page, but I've made up a music TikTok account now and I'm definitely going to start posting on it because TikTok is the thing now. It's just so popular at the minute.
Definitely. It's like the biggest platform for musicians to get out there at the moment. And so like the Facebook and Instagram are
and
so
you
sewn
post
up with
one
ads
video
and
it could just go viral.
Yeah, exactly.
So, whereas TikTok is just so much easier.
Yeah.
Are you going to do just the music on there? Are you going to do those, the TikTok dances and things?
Well, someone say I have 2 left feet. Yeah, I can do the jive, but I don't think I'd be a dab hand at those TikTok dances. You think I'd just mess them up, so I'll just stick to the singing.
And all those lip syncing videos and things like that. Is that your kind of thing, is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We'll have to get you doing one with Copper. I think that he'd do a great sort of duet one of those.
Yeah, me and Copper get on great in one, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously you said that like country music is a big part of your life and things. What sort of got you into country music? You know, what's your kind of background with you and things?
Well, I suppose from I was a young age, my brothers and my sisters would be going to the likes of the country dances. They were huge. And they'd be heading off to the Allingham Arms in Bundoran or the McWilliam in Claremorris. And they'd come home and they'd have the music playing for the whole week afterwards, whether we were going in the car, whether we were in the house, no matter where we were, there was country music. And I definitely think I had no other choice but to get into it, I suppose. And my extended family, my dad's side of the family, there's some singers, there's some musicians on there, and it's the exact same on my mum's side of the family. Mm-hmm. So I really think the music came down in through the blood, but it was just definitely something I couldn't avoid. And once I heard it, I was just like, yeah, this is for me.
And who would have been on the record player, the stereo back in the day when you were growing up, let's say?
Oh, I definitely would have been the likes of Dolly Parton, Sarah Evans would have been on, Derek Ryan was on. It was just all those, you know, really well-known country singers at the time, and they were just huge influences.
Oh, that's cool. And I know obviously you were talking about family there. You've got an auntie who some people would know her songs from songwriting and stuff. Is that something you'd like to look at yourself and get into?
I definitely think so. And I suppose Nuala Woods is her name, and she's no better woman to give me a bit of guidance in something like that. But I would love eventually to be able to get something of my own out there that just came from me and came from my heart. It's great recording covers, but I think there's something really, really special about a song that's your own and it tells your own kind of a story.
Yeah. Have you put pen to paper yet at all and scribbled down some ideas?
I haven't put pen to paper at all, and it's definitely something I should do. But it's getting the courage of just doing it and just going for it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something I need to look at. 100%.
I think the best approach for you to do is when you're writing a song, don't think about, who's going to listen to this? What are they going to think about? Just write it for yourself. And then once you're finished with it, it's like, exactly is that any good or not? I might release that or I might not. I'll write another one then, or whatever it is. You know, try not to think about what people think about when you're writing it.
Yeah.
But how many songs have you wrote, Copper?
Lots and lots over the years. Lots will never see the light of day. You know, that kind of thing. So it's a learning curve. It's all a learning curve. It is. Absolutely.
I'm always going to be learning as well. So I think that would be really cool. But is it kind of weird if you get to sing any of your, you know, the songs that like your aunties wrote or anything like that? Does it feel weird, or are you quite proud to be able to do that?
I think they're amazing songs. Like it's such a proud moment. You get a song that you know who wrote it and you know that person, and you're able to say, like, that song was wrote by somebody really, really close to me. It's just, it's an amazing moment when you're able to sing a song that you know was wrote by a relative of yours.
Yeah. And it must be really weird because obviously, you know, she wrote for like Robert Mazzell, and you got to perform with Robert as well. So tell us a bit about that and how that all came to be.
I did. Robert has been absolutely amazing, and I owe so much to him. I obviously entered the Cowboys and Heroes Search for a Country Star competition back in June of 2019. And that was kind of the first time that I ever branched on to the country music scene. Nobody would have known that I performed or I sang. So I entered that competition and I made it to the final. And that itself opened so many doors for me. So a month later, Robert was playing a local gig here in Manorhamilton. So obviously I knew at the time that Nuala Woods had written the 2 songs for Robert. Mm-hmm. So I approached Nuala about maybe 3 days before the gig. And I said, Nuala, do you think if I tried that I would get to perform a song or 2 with Robert and the band? So Nuala being Nuala, of course, moments later, she was on the phone and she said, look, she said, I know them. She said, I'll get on to them and I'll see what I can do for you. So that was on the Wednesday, and on the Saturday morning, and the gig was on the Saturday night, I got a phone call back from Nuala, and I answered the phone, and the first thing she said to me was, you're singing with Robert Mazzell. And I think my whole world was just blown up in the air. I was like, this is, absolutely huge. So I went in and I met Robert and the gang, and they were absolutely amazing. They were so, so lovely. They made me feel so at ease performing with them, and having Robert on one side of the stage, sitting over in the corner, and all the lads behind me in the band, it just made me feel really, really relaxed. And they're just an amazing bunch of musicians. So it was an absolute honour to be able to perform with them.
I heard a rumour that the night before you had a bit of a late night and you kind of regretted that on the day of the actual gig. Did you learn
a little bit? I did. The night
Too much
before
lemonade,
the gig, I headed off a little bit. I headed off to a disco in Carrick and Shannon the night before this gig. And I knew myself, I probably shouldn't have went, but I still went. And I remember coming out of the disco, and I had 4 missed calls on my phone from Nuna. But where we were in the back end of nowhere in South Leitrim. So, there was absolutely no signal. So I tried ringing her back, and I was on the phone to her, and all my friends were in the car, and they hadn't a clue what I was doing. And I was trying to get through to her, and I was like, this one is going to think I'm an absolute renegade. So I couldn't get through to her at all, and she couldn't hear me, she couldn't understand me. So I had to wait until the next morning, but I think it was worth the wait, because if I would have known the night before, there would have been no sleep gotten by the time I went home.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So whatever sleep you did get was better than if you hadn't known.
It was well worth it. It prepared me well for it.
Yeah. I said that was probably one of the bigger crowds you ever performed to, was it?
That was probably the biggest crowd I've ever performed to yet. The crowd in Manor Hamilton, it was on the main street, so that main street would be pretty narrow, but I was on the stage, and when I looked to my right, I could just see endless amounts of people, and it was the same thing when I looked to my left. So it was nerve-wracking, but the crowd was just absolutely amazing.
Ah, good. They liked you anyway, so that's good anyway.
Exactly, yeah, and they knew me too, so that was a bit of a benefit.
Oh, so that's local girls, so that helps.
Exactly, yeah, that helps every little bit.
Jodie, do you have anything there?
I was waiting for you to ask about Cowboys and Heroes, because I thought you were going to ask about that.
Oh no, she already covered it.
Well, I know. No, okay. So, who else have you sort of shared the stage with? I know there's some other people there that you were quite keen to thank for having you there.
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough. Last December, obviously before the whole lockdown came in, I was lucky enough to share the stage with Mick Flavin, which was absolutely amazing. We were doing a charity gig for the Alzheimer's Society, I think it was. And we had the fantastic Brian Kerrigan from Letterkenny, and he was backing us all, and Mick Flavin was there on the day. And I think it was I was really proud at that moment. I was like, I'm going on to the same stage that Mick Flavin is going to be standing on in less than half an hour. Like, it was absolutely amazing. And I knew that everyone was there, and, fair play to the woman that organised it, Anne O'Hagan. She's another local singer from around here, but she raised so much money for the Alzheimer's Society, and everyone was there on the day to support her. But I think for me, I was absolutely delighted to be asked to be there. And when I heard that Mick Flavin was on the same bill as me, I just thought it was absolutely amazing. And then in August of last year, I attended a drive-in gig in Enniskillen. And it was the Tumbling Paddies were playing at it, and the lads took me up for a song, and it was just the best crack I think I have ever had. They're such a lovely bunch of lads, and they were delighted to have me up. So it was great to kind of branch out somewhere that isn't too far away from home as well, and kind of get my name a little bit out there to that Northern Irish crowd. So I'll be forever grateful to the lads as well for taking me up. It was good fun.
And did you say that was a driving gig?
Yeah, that was a driving gig. So
how was that crowd?
It was very different. It was really, really different. Like, when you're on a stage, you're used to... Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So like when you're usually on a stage, you're used to your crowd in front of you, and you can get the buzz off the crowd. You have the interaction with the crowd. But for me and for us on that night, we were standing there and there was just cars in front of us. So it was like you were singing to a car, and it just felt so strange. But
then you get a wall of noise then at you when you're finished.
Over then, all you heard was these like honking of the horns, and it was just a completely different experience, but it was good fun.
That's it. And
Oh, bless you.
obviously you're very passionate about country music, but what do you have any passions about apart from country music? Any hobbies or interests outside of music?
Well, I suppose aside from music, I'm really, really into my hair and beauty aspect of things. You won't see me outside the house. You'll see me in the house with my hair up on the top of my head and, absolutely no makeup on. But when I go to go anywhere, I do put in that little bit of effort. Yeah. So, you have to brush the hair and put on a little bit of makeup to go anywhere. But I suppose when I'm not dipping into music, I'm definitely stuck with a hairbrush in one hand and maybe a makeup brush in the other hand.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
You're focusing hard on your schoolwork as well.
Yeah, so I'm due to sit my Leaving Cert exam next year. I was due to sit it this year, but with the whole pandemic, I felt that I had missed out on too much of my schoolwork, and I would be one that would be really, really focused on my schoolwork. So I decided to go back and repeat the year that I was in, which is what I'm doing now. And I think it was the best decision I could have made. So I'm focusing hard now on preparing for that next year and just getting the best result that I can get.
Oh, good. What kind of subjects do you like most?
So I absolutely love home economics. I'm a real home economics kind of a girl. There's a bit of agricultural science thrown in there as well. We're kind of sticking to the family background and the farm and all that.
But no, I'm definitely
more of a... Yeah, grew up on a farm, surrounded by a farm, but I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love that your first music video is going to be you on a tractor now. I can just see it now. Get the farm girl out.
The John Deere going around the corner.
That's it.
That's what country's all about, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. That's the real country vibe.
So what's your plans for the rest of lockdown, however long it may be lasting?
Well, I'm really hoping that it doesn't last much longer. I think we're all hoping that we can just get out of it. But I suppose the main thing is we have our health, and I don't think we could ask for anything else. But my plans for the rest of lockdown, I suppose, is I'm going to continue putting up some covers, doing some lives. But then obviously the main thing that's going to be taking over my time between now and the end of May is obviously my schoolwork from home. But yeah, that's kind of my plans. I'm not going to be doing anything very exciting.
No, we're all the same boat. Yeah, we just kind of do what we can.
That's it.
Yeah,
exactly. You have to do it.
Music wise, going back to that, what sort of, and if you obviously you've sung with the, we've already spoke about sort of the Tumbling Paddies and Robert Mazzell. Who would kind of be your dream, apart from Copper Kelly, obviously? Who would be your dream duet to do a song with?
Oh, my dream duet. I think it'd have to be somebody like Derek Ryan or somebody like that, because I admire Derek so much as a songwriter. And I think it'd be absolutely amazing, if there was like a new song written as a duet. I think like Derek is so big on the scene around here. It'd be an absolute honor to be able to record and release something with somebody like him. He's an amazing songwriter and an amazing performer.
Nice.
He's done some great duets as well, hasn't he? With sort of Cleona and Lisa.
They're amazing, absolutely fantastic.
And tell me this, right? This is a question I'm going to ask every guest. It's just for the crack.
Okay.
Have you got any? Have you got any ghost stories that you could tell us, and yourself or from
any ghost stories that I can tell you? Let me think. Oh, well, there's a story.
There we go.
Just a little one that came into my head there very briefly. Obviously, I live in the back end of nowhere in Glenfarne, and halfway up a mountain is what most people would say. But I suppose the ghost story around here is that we have a ghost living on our mountain. Oh. And that some nights you'd see, I've never seen it myself. I don't know whether to believe it. I don't know whether I believe it, but I've been told it numerous times. But
it's fun to think about it at least.
Yeah, the ghost, exactly. The story is that he lives in or around the waterfall on the mountain, and on certain nights we're told that if you look out, you will see a light shining across the mountain. Oh. So that's the height of my ghost stories. I don't know whether to believe it, but it's one I'm sick hearing of it. But yeah, apart from that, nothing
everywhere in Ireland has got their own ghost, haven't they? I know, like when we were kids and we would come over like holidays and everything, we'd be over there with family, and particularly like the older generation of like my nan and things. She'd always be like, there's a ghost in this place, or we'd be going to find some house that's a haunted house in different areas.
Yeah, and then it's always the eerie feeling when you go out after dark. That's another thing around here. There's, you can nearly get that eerie feeling in the air, and you're just like, oh, I really want to go back into the house.
Yeah.
Putting us off visiting you now, Amy.
Yeah.
It's a haunted area up there.
Oops.
Yeah.
Tell me this now. What would you, if you won the lottery, what would you do?
Ooh, if I won the lottery, I think I definitely put some of it away for education, for my
She's so
future, I
sensible.
suppose,
Very
family, and building a house, car, But also, I suppose the big one would be I definitely put a lot of it down to my music.
I thought you were going to say makeup.
No, well, there'd have to be a little bit spent on that too, but no, I definitely think I put a lot of it to music because it's something that I really, really want to do. So if I had that, if I had that money, I wouldn't mess around with it. Like,
no,
I definitely put it to good use.
An album or, exactly.
Yeah, an album or getting a band on the road.
Band on the road and that,
exactly.
It's not cheap, so definitely you need.
No, it's not. So it'd be great if I could win the lotto now. Let's hope you put a bit of luck in me.
That's it, yeah.
And what kind of advice would you give to any sort of young girls that could be listening, or guys, obviously, that just think, oh, I'd love to be able to be a singer or do something, and well, how does that first step of coming into the business look like?
Well, I think it's a very daunting thing at the beginning, because when you're my age and when you're so young starting out, I think you really, really care about what other people are going to think of you. But you have to just go for it. If it's something you want to do and if it's something that makes you happy, you really just have to go for it and just don't care what other people think. Do what makes you happy. Just take that step. For me, the first step that I took was obviously entering the Cowboys and Heroes competition. Just take a step, whether it be, sing somewhere in a pub or at an event when the restrictions are lifted, make an Instagram, make a Facebook, or even on your own social media accounts, just post something of you singing. Just go for it and don't let other people stop you from chasing your dream. That's definitely what I would say.
It's definitely a journey. You have to, it's like a mountain. You have to climb the mountain. You have to make that first step at the bottom.
You do. And there's ups and downs on the way, but you can't let them stop you.
No,
you really can't.
Don't give up or whatever. Yeah, do what you want to do.
Exactly.
I think it's great what you said as well about like not worrying about other people's opinion. And I know Copper said this to me many a times, is that if you do something and you're happy yourself, and you're doing a good job yourself and doing the best you can, then hopefully everyone else will like it. But don't take it too personally if they don't. Do it for your own kind of gratification.
Do it for your own. 100%. That's definitely something, and it's always something that I thought of at the beginning before I made my jump onto the country music scene. I was definitely afraid of, well, what's my friends going to think? What's obviously the people that I'm going to school with, what are they going to think? But I just told myself that you can't let what they're going to think worry you, that you just have to do it for yourself, because at the end of the day, it was what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because probably country isn't seen as like the cool thing to do in a way.
Country isn't, it's not, in my school anyway, country music would definitely not be huge. You get the odd one that would be really keen on the singers and heading out for the dance, but in my school it's definitely more they're into their pop and their jazz. But everyone has their own likes and dislikes. Everyone has their own opinions. And
that's cool.
It's crazy. There's a good mixture in our school now, but there is obviously a few that love country music and just like myself. But there's also the other few then that, if you put on country music, they'd be like, put that off. Like crap. They just hate it.
Yeah. It's just this perception about country music, I suppose. It's just this old timey. What would you call it? Yeah, it's just this old music.
Some people just have the opinion that it's just really old fashioned, but I personally think that country has become really modern in the recent years.
And I think that's why it's important to have young singers like yourself coming through to kind of keep that alive. So it isn't just, seen
fresh
as an
vibe.
old thing that people, their age and and things can be doing it and aspire to be that.
Exactly. Yeah, I suppose if you can influence anyone on this journey, I think you're doing well. Like, I would definitely like to think that some people would see me trying to come out onto the scene and they would think, well, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So I really hope that it will kind of push somebody out there that maybe wants to do it. I really hope that it will just push them to just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if you put your heart and soul into it, you can do anything.
And the way I look at it is I'm making music myself. I make it for myself. If I like the song, that's great. I'll put the song out. And if other people want to listen to it, that's brilliant. If they don't want to listen to it, grand. There's plenty of other singers they can listen to. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if people do want to listen
to it,
that's the way,
but you have to see it
better.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a bonus if people actually like it.
Exactly. Yeah. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. You have to take things like that with a pinch of salt. Not everyone's going to like you. There's people out there. Everyone will love this podcast. Don't worry.
No, but we're enjoying it. So again, if it's that thing, isn't it? We're enjoying making it. We're having fun. And if somebody wants to join in and listen to our fun, then brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And if don't, then grand, there's other podcasts to listen to. Fair enough.
Go listen to the other ones.
Copper does love himself a podcast, to be fair, don't you?
Oh, I do. Absolutely.
They pass the time, really, don't they?
They do. I do a 9-to-5 job, so I have the headphones on the whole time, listen to 8 hours of podcasts a day for the last few years almost. So I'm just,
and I'd say the time flies. You don't feel that 9 to 5 going in.
No, definitely. And a trick, if any 9-to-5ers out there, a trick to make the day pass a bit quicker is never look at the clock until you're coming up to 5 to 1 for lunch or something. But never look at the clock, because the day will drag so much if you keep looking at the clock every 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Just get rid of all your clocks.
Exactly.
Copper's tips. That's what we'll add in.
Copper's tips.
Copper's tip of the day.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that. So have you got any more random questions, Copper? He likes the random.
Let me see now.
The random ones. Just to throw you off a little bit.
Yeah, it works.
You're of a younger generation, so you might not have bought many CDs. But what was the first CD you have bought, if you have any?
The first CD I bought would have been Nathan Carter's Staying Up All Night album. That was the first ever CD that I bought myself.
Yeah. When was that?
That was shortly after he released it. I think that album might be out 4 or 5 years now, but that was the first album I bought. I was a huge Nathan Carter fan, and I used to drag my poor mother here, there and everywhere to see Nathan. But yeah, that was the first ever CD that I bought.
Isn't that the album that's got the Green Day cover on it of Time of Your Life? And wasn't that the song you did? Tumbling Paddies? I did. I sang Time of Your Life with the Tumbling Paddies. I absolutely love that song. It's such a good song. There's a really good vibe on it. Yeah, it's really, really good.
And now you probably just answered it, but if we were having a karaoke night, what would be your first song that you'd sing when you get up?
If I was having what would I sing? I think I would definitely sing. I love that Dolly Parton one. Lisa Q always sings it. Why'd you come in here looking like that?
Okay. So not an obvious Dolly choice, actually.
Yeah, I just love. I think it's a really, really good song to kind of open anything on, because you can really relate to the words of it when you're after coming onto a stage, and it's almost as if you're after seeing somebody and you're like, well, why did you come in here looking like that?
I want to know now what Copper Kelly would sing on karaoke.
Yeah, what would you say, Copper?
Let's put you on the spot.
I was in Thailand one time, and we had a karaoke night, and the first song I sang was Seal, Kiss from a Rose. Just,
wow.
I love that.
Did it go down well, or were you asked to leave?
Oh, I did. No, it was great crack. We're all shouting and screaming at the top of our lungs. I lost the voice fairly quickly after. I was just absolutely screaming it. But it was good crack.
I think my karaoke classic was always Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Oh,
it was a song that I just did and sung, and then every time we were in a karaoke bar, my friends was like, she's gonna sing this song, and by the end, to start with, it was amazing, and now it's just like, oh, not this song again.
I used to sing that song in a pub band years and years and years ago. But we did the kind of the alternative version where it was more curse words. It's do. And that was kind of stuff. I can't remember the lyrics now, but it was good crack.
Oh, I can imagine. You couldn't imagine you singing a power ballad, just all romantic and nice.
And tell me this. Right, this is my last question for you, Amy. If you were to have 3 people at a dinner party, or a party or whatever, dead or alive, who would you pick and why?
Who would I pick? Shania Twain,
Oh, okay.
would definitely be the first one. Huge influence. I absolutely love Shania Twain. Dolly Parton, because she is the queen of country.
Absolutely.
And I think my third would be Philomena Begley.
Oh,
We couldn't leave out
Wow.
the Irish queen of country.
oh.
It's a
That's a
real
good-
power
good table
winning
there.
like dinner, isn't it?
Yeah, women power, yeah.
Yeah. You write a song between each other then as well and release it and it'd be like the...
Yeah, your girl band. Yeah, that
Yeah.
exactly go down well.
Have you been to see Philly play recently? Well, obviously not too recent with the lockdown.
I went to see Philly. She was supporting Nathan Carter and at a Christmas show, and
Mhm.
she was absolutely amazing. Like she doesn't take anything too seriously. She's really lighthearted, and she knows how to make the audience enjoy themselves, and she definitely done that. She's absolutely fantastic.
It's like we were talking before, she's having a really good time and you can't help but have a good time.
Exactly.
When
When you see her
it's
enjoying
just-
herself, you're not going to sit there without a smile on your face. When you see her having so much fun up on stage, you just have to join in with her.
Definitely. And I think she's just gone into the Irish Country Hall of Fame, hasn't she? Alongside,
Yeah,
I
she
think
just
her and
got
Daniel
that
O'Donnell are the only
Christmas.
reciprocants at the moment. So yeah,
Yeah.
she's done well.
They deserve it, though. They really, really deserve it.
Definitely.
That's great. So I think we can wrap up this interview.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, would you like to shout out where people can find you on socials?
Well,
and
you
that?
can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, that I will start posting on more, and Snapchat, and they're all at Amy Gilgunn Music. That's where you can find me if you're looking for me.
Very good.
Brilliant. We'll
Yeah.
all make sure we follow.
Thank you.
So that was our interview with Amy. Great girl she was. Did you enjoy that as much as I did, Joe?
Definitely. I think it's always nice to give people a kind of platform to be, sort of have their story told, I guess, that don't get opportunities to do that anywhere else. And I think that that's what we really want to try and do with the podcast, is have people on here from all walks of the music life and different stages of their career, so that we can obviously, follow with them. So big thanks to Amy for agreeing to be on with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And she did a great job as well. I think this is her one of her first interviews ever or something like that.
Yeah, and I think she did a great job as well.
Yeah.
She was very nervous, bless her, but I definitely see
Couldn't
big things
tell.
for her in the future.
Absolutely. But now we'll go to our regular segment. This is our album club. And so last week, we each suggested an album that the other listened to, and yourselves listened to as well if you wanted to. And last week, I suggested Jason Isbell's album Southeastern. And what was it that you suggested to me, Joe?
I suggested to you, it was Laura Aston's Gentle on My Mind, which is more of an EP, I guess, than an album,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think it had, 7 songs on it or something? I think 8,
Something like
7,
that,
8
yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
So I suppose, tell us what are your thoughts on Jason Isbell?
Yeah, so I'd obviously never heard of Jason before, sorry. But I really enjoyed it, actually. He's obviously got a really, really good, authentic country sound. But he's got that kind of gift of he can sing a song that feels good as you're listening to it. But actually, if you break it down and listen to the words, it's actually quite sad.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs are, they're really sad and heartfelt and things. But he sings them and you don't quite feel as sad about the things in it. So it's very strange when you've listened to it a few times, some of the songs a few times, and you start singing along to it and you realise that, it's not quite as cheery as you initially thought.
I suppose Travelling Alone is one like that. The chorus is Travelling Alone. It's really catchy.
Different Days was the other one for me. I kind of really, really liked that one, had that on quite a bit. I try to, I like to listen to albums like in order, but then I like to put them on shuffle.
Oh yeah.
I like to do them in order to start with, because sometimes albums, they tell a story, don't they? If you listen to them in a set order, but for some reason when it's on shuffle, Different Days seems to come up all the time when it's on shuffle. That seems to be the first one.
And that's the thing, the whole album art form is kind of going away in today's, streaming climate. Everyone just wants that 1 or 2 songs and that's it. Forget the rest of the album. But anyway, that's why I kind of suggested to do this album club, because listen to the flipping album. It's
the
there
whole
for
thing,
a reason. Yeah,
as
exactly.
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Cover Me Up was the other song that was really strange, because as I say, I hadn't listened to Jason before, but I knew this song, and it was one that I was thinking, sure, I know this song, and where do I know this song from, and things like that. So where do I know that song from?
A fella recently did it called Morgan Wallen, but that fella got into a lot of trouble there recently. But let's say no more about that. That's his own thing. But he did a version of Cover Me Up, which is Jason Isbell's song. Jason Isbell wrote the song, and he did a version of that on his album. But I think Jason Isbell's version just blows it out of the water. I think Morgan Wallen's sound production is probably a little bit better, but you have the feeling and the heart in the original Jason Isbell version. But that Cover Me Up song, I think the first time I heard that's the first Jason Isbell song I heard, maybe a few years ago. And I just yep, this guy, I like this guy. He's good. Listen to that song on repeat. Such a good song.
It is a good song. It's a good song.
But yeah, and as you were saying, a lot of the songs are sad. And there is, I suppose, a content warning. You didn't listen to the fourth song. I should have given it a warning. There's some bad language in it, and it covers some sensitive topics. But it is a fantastic song. It was Elephant, it's called. But a great, great song. Well, again, a few curse words and such in it, but the rest of the album's nice and clean and all that stuff. But do you have any other thoughts on that album before we move on?
No, just I'm really enjoying, finding things that I wouldn't necessarily listen to or would pop up. I think that we're all guilty, aren't we, of just, listening to our favourite songs over and over. And, some of these will be rediscovering songs or albums that we forget that we like. There's so many songs out there, isn't there, that we forget. The times of our lives when we did used to just play things on repeat and things. So I'm enjoying just, a different, we both have very different, although we're into country music, we have different styles of country music that we're into. That's the thing, and I'm really enjoying seeing the sort of, the wide range of country music that's out there. And again, hopefully that shows through the guests that we have on as well. Yeah.
Because, I think you were saying people like to stay in their little bubbles. They have their songs that they like and they just listen to those songs and they don't reach out. Like myself, I listen to any genre of music under the sun. I listen to jazz, reggae, rock, whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as it's good, I like it. But some people just
it's a song songs that relate to you, isn't it? In a time of your life or something, is that you all remember those songs that you have. And there's been a big thing recently with Taylor Swift releasing her album, obviously under her own name now and things because of her legal battles and stuff. But there's people that are saying that they loved listening to that as teenagers, and now they've grown up and they're listening to it again. And it takes on a whole new meaning now to the songs that when they were a teenager and you had your first loves and crushes and you were finding things out about life and things. You've now lived those and it all takes on a different meaning. So sometimes it is good to go back and, revisit these things.
Then you also have other people saying, oh, no, she's cashing in and all this stuff. But they don't obviously know the story behind it because...
They're her songs.
They're her songs, but she doesn't own the songs. Some other guy owns the songs that she doesn't like. She fell out with this particular guy. I can't remember what his name is now off the top of my head, but she fell out with this guy years ago.
Braun?
Scooter Braun, that's the guy, And he controls the music. He owns the masters, which is, that's where the money is, let's say. So he owns them and he's, he's doing what he wants with that music, but she has no control over the music whatsoever. She doesn't own the music, none of that. So what she did, she recorded it again. So it's like absolutely, sticking up the middle finger to your man.
Definitely.
Taking back the power of her own music, which I stand behind her 100%. But a lot of people wouldn't understand that. But and I think it is important. So this reason I did this album club is get people listening to other styles of country, even because there's so many styles of country. Like we have Irish country is one particular sound and style, and then you have American country, but then you have so many subgenres of American country as well. It's just an endless tree of genres that you could go explore, which I love doing, and I hopefully will encourage a lot more of you and yourself, Jodie, and the listeners to do as well. But the album that you suggested was Laura Aston, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Oh, what's the name of it? Mind. Gentle on My Mind, that's the one, yes. So I think, it's an EP, I think it was 6-7 songs on it. Very cool, actually. I like it's like that vintage kind of, almost like Loretta Lynn kind of, 70s American country sound to it. Had that vintage vibe off it. And
she's definitely got that sort of old style voice, and actually quite funny recently, actually in this last week, she's she put up a cover. I think it was on TikTok or something. And I can't off the top of my head remember who it was, but it was somebody, it was a really like classic country singer. And it's going to really, as soon as we stop recording, I'll remember who it is.
Yeah.
And people were writing
Patsy Cline,
really abusive comments. It was who?
Was it Patsy Cline? She'd walking after me.
Patsy Cline, that was it, yeah. And people were writing really abusive comments underneath, asking why a singer had to mime to Patsy Cline. And she wasn't miming, she was actually singing. And she had to do like an Instagram story, and her record label did an Instagram story like, no, that's her voice, that's her singing. But I think that shows the style that she has, and that talent, that old voice of country.
Yeah, it's that kind of high treble in the tonality of a voice. It's kind of but also it's very smooth at the same time. It's not like piercing. You know what I mean?
No,
like
it's just easy listening, isn't it?
Yeah, easy listening as well. Like it could go too trebly and then it'd be piercing and you wouldn't want to listen to it. But she's not. She has to find that she got that nice balance between cutting through the mix, you could say, and being.
And she doesn't sound like she's from Birmingham, does she?
She is from Birmingham, is she?
Not far from me, yeah. She's from Birmingham, yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. Like, and I think Tin Man is probably one of my favorite songs on it. It's just real chill vibe. And that's, I keep saying the word vibe, and that's music to me. It's vibe, isn't it? It's like atmosphere, it's feeling. It just makes you chill out, or it makes you get up and go, or whatever it is. It's all about vibe. So let me see now. So yeah, high end to her voice. Walking After Midnight, she did the Patsy Cline version, which is very, very cool, kind of jazzy sound to it as well. And absolutely recommend that album. Or
there's
EP.
a good mix in there, because there's a Shania Twain cover on there as well.
Yeah, which are all boots under.
Whose boots? Yeah. Whose bed have your boots been under? And
whose boots have your bed been under?
Yeah. My favourite on it actually is Dance with the One. I just think that's just a lovely song, and it's got that. Obviously, I like going to the dances, and I like getting up for the different styles of dancing. We talk a lot about jive, but obviously that's a 2-step dance, and I just play it, and I like to put it on when I'm cooking, because I kind of 2-step around the kitchen. Sorry to my neighbours who might see me. And it just makes me think, I can't wait to get back to the dances. So that's a song that I really like.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I definitely recommend it as well. And the first song was Gentle on My Mind. I think it was, that's the first song. I think that's an old Glenn Campbell. He did a version of that as well years ago. And yeah, it's great. It's almost like a Parisian feel to it, that chord progression. But it's I'd recommend listening to that, and hopefully you've gone and checked out Jason Isbell as well, because he's unreal. Actually, some funny or some facts about Jason Isbell. He's from Alabama, right? But his wife is in a band with him as well. The 400 Unit is the name of the band, the 400 Unit, and her name is Amanda Shires, and she was a co-founding member of the High Women. Oh, okay. Have you heard of the Highwaymen? I have. You've heard of the Highwaymen? That's the Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, and Waylon Jennings. But the Highwaymen came out recently, and that has Amanda Shires, Maren Mars. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Yeah, it is. And Brandy Carlisle and Natalie Hemby. So Brandy Carlisle is another great fucking singer as well. Maren Mars is of course, My Church, isn't it? Which is very popular in the Irish country music at the moment. Everyone seems to be having a cover of it. But I think first person to actually cover that in the Irish country was actually Chantal Padden, who we had on our first episode. There we go, pioneer. Absolutely, fair play. Yeah, but that's the albums from last week. But tell me, Joe, what do you suggest myself and the listeners should check out this week? So my recommendation for this week is actually, it's an album from 2015, and it's by an Irish singer called Colin Graham. And the album is called A Voice for the Urban Darling. Urban Darling. Yeah. And I don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's all self-written. Yeah. He's a brilliant songwriter that I would love to get onto the podcast at some point, because I'm sure he's got some amazing stories. Yeah, that's my recommendation for this week. And what will I be listening to, Copper? Okay, I'm going for another American country singer this week. I will get some Irish ones sometime eventually, maybe. But mine suggestion is Sturgill Simpson. He is now his name is Sturgill, Sturgill, I think. Sturgill Simpson, and he is an absolute like trendsetter, I suppose you could say, in the American country scene. He's I suppose he would be a modern day outlaw if listeners know what the outlaw scene was. Is that, you have your Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, they were all the outlaws. They kind of stayed out of Nashville. They had their own sound. Yeah. They did their own thing. They weren't part of the glitz and glamour of Nashville. But so Sturgill Simpson is like a modern day outlaw, and he has a very country voice. The second you hear it, it's very like kind of nasally,
distinctive, isn't
it?
But
yeah, like as soon as if I heard him like a mile away, I could hear, oh, that's Sturgill. I just love those kind of singers. You just tell straight away who they are. But this album,
did that with Copper Kelly.
Hopefully someday. Anyway, you never know. But see, the thing with Sturgill Simpson now, he has a good few albums out, and each of the albums sound very different. And I had a very tough time actually picking one of them to do. And I probably will pick another one in the future. Probably will, more than likely. But this one I've picked today is called Sound and Fury. And it is, I suppose it's more of a rock and roll album, but with his country singing style. And the two styles match so nicely. This album came out, I think, in 2019. And ever since, I've listened to it, at least like twice a month or more, since then. I can't get enough of it.
Just something you keep going back to.
Yeah, absolutely. Kept, like, this would be like one of my Desert Island discs. Absolutely. I just put it on. If I was bored and nothing else to listen to, I just stick on Sound and Fury. I'm in a good mood straight away, Now
so I know what to do. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
I know how to fix it.
But it comes with a caveat, right? The very first song on it is like this real slow burning building intro, and it's very long, and it's just a guitar solo. It's really cool, but it probably bore you if you're not used to that kind of thing. I just
Okay.
But if you want to skip to the second song, it'll kick straight off.
He likes to ruin
Happy
things
Day.
for me. He did this last week as well. He never just lets me listen. He always has to tell me a little bit too much.
Well, look, this is the thing. Like, I remember putting this on for friends. I put on the album. This is a great album. Love this album so much. And I stuck it on, and the first song is about 5 minutes of just a guitar solo, pretty much. And it's like,
and you're feeling it, you're
like,
vibing.
I'm vibing it, but everyone else is like, oh man, what's he after putting on? You know what I mean? But once it kicks into that second song, you're away, you're laughing. It's really good, and you'll be dancing around the kitchen. I tell you that. It's a great album. But yeah, listen to it and let me know your thoughts. The same audience, you listen to it as well if you like, and let us know what you thought as well in the comments, or email it in to us actually at our email address is folkinaround, or just called, or I'll start again. It's no "de" at the start. It's folkinaroundpodcast@gmail.com, and send an email in to us. Even if talk about the albums we're talking about, you can talk about the guests that we have. If you have any guest requests or fan questions or questions for us or anything like that, you can email it into us, and we'll read it out and we'll give you a shout out on air, I suppose you could say. But is there anything more you want to add before we get to our socials, Jo?
Just once again, want to thank everybody for their support, whether it's been following us, liking and sharing, what we're putting out, or the messages that we've been getting have all been just so positive, and we really, really appreciate it. So obviously don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, everything like that.
Yeah. And leave a little podcast review for us on different platforms. I think you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a review on Podcast Addict. You can't leave reviews on Spotify or any of those places. Maybe someday you will, I don't know. But leave us a nice little 5-star review. Leave us, tell us why you like the podcast, and that'll help other people listen to the podcast and get us out there a bit more. And we want to build a community of, as I said, like-minded folks that want to talk about country music and just have the crack, folk around a bit. But yeah, where can they find us on the old socials, Jo?
So we are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And we are at Folkin Around Podcast, and we are on Twitter with Folkin Around Pod.
That's the one. And I suppose if you want to find me anywhere, you can, first of all, it's the easiest thing to do, just Google Copper Kelly, you'll find me straight away. But I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and all those good places, Copper Kelly, and you'll find me there. And where can they find you, Joe?
So again, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Welcome to Jodie Land, and on Twitter, Welcome to Jodie. And I promise that I am going to try and use Twitter a little bit more, because somebody did comment that I don't use Twitter. So I will.
Yeah.
I will get into it.
I never really took to Twitter all that much. I love Instagram's my jam. You know what I mean? That's my thing.
I think Instagram's the one that most people go to now, isn't it? I think Facebook's probably more family orientated and things like that, isn't it?
Facebook is like, that's like the old people go to Facebook.
We're not that young.
I'm only messing. But it is kind of falling out of favor with younger generations, for definite sure. So like TikTok is obviously where it's at now. But yeah, Instagram is still my thing. I love that. Twitter, I do be honest the odd time, but I try to be on it a bit more. So interact with us, of course.
Instagram's the best place to catch us, I think, is what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it. But other than that, I'll have to say my latest single is out. Shameless self-promotion, but my latest single, 16 Tons, is out at the moment. And I put the YouTube video is gone out just this past Wednesday or Tuesday. And it'll be up there to view on YouTube, and I'll probably put it on Facebook and all that crack as well. But if that's everything, Joe, I think we'll wrap her up. And just want to say, bye, folkers.
Bye.